Isn't this lovely? But again, context is everything. Morning all, it's, I don't know, hang on. Yes, 7:34 on Wednesday the, oh no, that's gone as well now, hang on. 16th of September. Wednesday the 16th of September, and look, there's a shoal of fish jumping across the water. Check that out. Oh, well, that plopping was during the night. They're all gone now. Skipping along the top. Fish equivalent of snorkeling, I suppose. Yes, where was I? So this is day 5. I'm bright and early. And I've dropped the board there, but I'm not really expecting a ferry to show up until 10 o'clock, so I've got about 2.5 hours to kiss on this jetty. And that's a problem because today's low tide for the river, this is the River Yelm. This is, as you can see, far too deep to wade across. The next river, which is 9 miles away, bear that number in mind, is the River and there's no bridge, as we discussed yesterday. No bridge, no ferry, no nothing. You are supposed to wade across it. So you can only safely do so within 1 hour of low tide, 1 hour either side. Presumably low tide itself is fine too. And low tide today is 11:47, I think. And I don't think, I've looked it up, it's fine, I've done some research finally. And that means I will effectively have to cover 9 miles in just under 2 hours, 2.5 hours by the time I got across this river, which is a bit much even for me. I mean, couch to 5k, I'm running at about 6 miles an hour, but that's, for about half an hour tops. And would know what that nonsense, or these nonsenses. So, yes. So I'm thinking by the time this ferry sorts itself out, I will have no time to get there in time to wade across today. But that's okay, because the River is 5 miles from Bigby-on-Sea, which is today's destination, and because the way I'm doing it all this week, I'm trying to stop just short of the destination each time so I can find somewhere to camp. So I figured, well, why not stop 5 miles short of the destination to this time, camp on this side of the River and then tomorrow I can get up, and tomorrow's tide times, I think it's 12:47. Seems to move on an hour every day. So by about midday I should be safe to start making my crossing, midday tomorrow. And then I will just have to try and pick up the lost ground a bit after I've successfully got across the River of Death, and then see what that does to my overall schedule. I mean, I don't know, I think I was looking at getting to just outside Torcross by Friday night, camping, and then triumphantly strolling into Torcross for breakfast on Saturday. Probably I'll end up turning up sometime during the day Saturday, late Saturday now. It depends how late. If I can get to Torcross by 5 p.m, I can get a bus out, but I do want to hang around and catch up with a friend who lives locally, so I don't know what their plan really is there. I have to see how this whole river debacle goes. He has offered to give me a lift, pick me up and give me a lift across to the other side of the river instead of the wading, but I want to try it. It seems like an important part of the whole nonsense. So yeah, I mean, it's a shame really, because if this ferry was here right now, that'd give me an extra 2 hours. I could probably make it to the river wading in time to do that today. But he's got a phone number there, but I don't expect you to so give me 10 minutes before phoning, please. So yeah, I drop this board thing like so. And then presumably somebody on the far side notices it's white, not black, and comes over. But obviously if it's not actually running, it's a bit unreasonable to expect someone to jump out of bed at 7:30 on a Wednesday morning just to pick up some careless hiker who's not got his timings and research right. So I'm quite happy to wait, that's fine. It's good in a way. It gives me a kind of enforced pair of half rest days. Once I get to that river, I'm just going to, daylight or no, I don't care. I'm just going to find a place, set the tent up and just loaf around for the day. And then likewise have a lay in the following morning. Get myself psychologically prepared for the assault. Apparently the river is quite cold because it all comes down off of Dartmoor. and it has a bit of a push, which is why I really don't want to be in it more than my knee deep, because I mean potentially with the way all my gear's set up and my general setup, I could probably go to thigh or hip deep, but hip deep into a fast flowing river, it's going to start pushing me over. It's going to knock me over at that point, and once I go over, that's that, game over. Everything in there is theoretically inside carrier bags, but they're not, hermetically sealed, and it's just a load of faff I don't want. Most of the stuff in there would dry. I've got 2 battery packs for 2 of those Anchor battery pack USB charger pack things for the phone. Phone itself, I brought along a special pouch thing that seals, a waterproof pouch that, according to the pictures that come with it, are suitable for windsurfing with your phone, so not too worried about the phone itself. It's the sleeping bag I'm worried about. If that gets wet, that is never going to dry by the end of this holiday. It's just going to make the rest of the whole thing really, really miserable. So, best plan is just not to fall over, and to do that I need to make sure I'm going. If you go over at low tide or an hour either side, it's only knee deep, so at the deepest channels. And also my friend has sent me an MS Paint edited picture from Google Maps showing pretty much the route to take across the thing as well. So I'm in good spirits. I think I can do it. It's not the activity itself, the crossing the river, that worries me. I mean, if I'd have known, I'd have brought some flip-flops or something, but hopefully there's not too much sharp stuff or weaver fish on the bottom of the river, but I think it's soft mud maybe, that's fine. Trudge my way across. But my feet are in a bit of a battered state, so I don't know how that's going to work with shoes and socks off and wade across a riverbed. But it's the timings of it all. It's the potential for danger that if I get there only a little bit too late, I think, I could probably make that. That kind of way lies disaster. So I've got to take the advice, which was on a signboard just up there, along with a list of tide times as well. Do it properly, but yeah, I just no way, because I'm going to need to get some supplies. I'm really low on water. I seem to use quite a lot of water during the night as well, just to keep the dry mouth at bay. So this goes across to somewhere called Noise, which is, I think, just round the bend to the right, up that overhead there. And from there, I'm hoping there's a cafe or toilets or something, just a tap, because then I've got 9 miles up and over. I don't know what else is up and between here and the River of Death. There might be a few other little beach hut type places. Who knows? 9 miles is a fair old day's work anyway. I mean, striking out from here at 10 would still only get me there probably by about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I do about 2 miles an hour at a determined stomp. So it's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to get there, which is going to put me well beyond the safe wading threshold, window, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to sitting on the dock of the bay, as they say. On the move again. So it's about 10 o'clock. 10... Flicky. Yeah. So, ferryman said he reckoned we were just chatting on the ferry on the way across, and he thought I could probably make it to the Erm and cross it if I went now. I thought, it's 3 hours. So it takes 3 to 4 hours on the signboard. It's 9 miles, 3 miles an hour. I think if I were fresh and unladen, then perhaps. The trouble is, I'm not fresh, not unladen, and I still need water and supplies. So I'm heading into Nos Mayo along this path. This isn't even the coast path anymore. I need to go back to the ferry, landing, go back the other way. But it's going to be a hot day with very little wind, and there's not many places between here and the River Erm where I can get supplies. So I think stick to the original plan rather than rush at it and then try and ford across a river that's up to my chest or whatever. Just up ahead I've seen 2 pubs on the map and a public convenience, so at the very least I can fill my bottles from a tap. Ideally get a leisurely breakfast, plenty to drink before I strike out, then come back and rejoin the trail and carry on with the original plan, and then get to the Erm, which is 9 miles away, and just find a spot to chill, camp out, relax for the afternoon. Because the next challenge after the Erm, assuming I survive walking across a river, is the river the other side of Big Beyond Sea, the Avon, in fact, which is very confusing. There must be like 30 or 40 Avon rivers in this country. But anyway, there's a river Avon over there, and that's next to Big Beyond Sea, and that's fine. There's a ferry service. Last ferry is 4 o'clock. Now, if I don't really want to miss that one, because the alternative is a quite a long, sort of looks like about an 8-mile inland detour. It might be a bit less, but even so. And if I miss that one, I'm going to have to bump my whole schedule by another day, I think. So basically, from fording the River Erm, I'll have about 4 hours to get 4 miles to Bigby, which is not unmanageable. That's doable. Should be able to make that. I don't want to miss that, so I'm going to have to push quite hard after I've done my river ford. Spend as little time as possible mucking about, drying my socks off and whatever. And then after that, there's one more crossing. That one is at Salcombe itself, and that seems like quite a busy sort of thing. Runs all day, no particular winter time restrictions or anything, so I shouldn't have much trouble crossing that one. Pretty much any time I turn up. Aiming for Salcombe for breakfast time, mid-morning of that day. That'll be Friday, I think. So yeah, there's a particular interconnectedness to all of this for the next couple of days. At the moment I'm on an easy road at the moment. I can just chill lots of time. Yeah, I mean, ferry guy was probably right, but I think he may have been overestimating my capabilities at the moment. I'm a bit worn down. And I do need to go and resupply and restock, because there's not much between. The coast path's pretty. I mean, there might be a sudden surprise ice cream hut or something, but it doesn't look like as much in the way of big villages on the way between here and Big Beyond Sea. So I'll need to be ready for 24 hours worth, basically. So this must be Newton Ferrers on the other side there. Apparently there's a shop over there, but we'll see what these pubs are like. There's 2 pubs on this side, so hopefully one of them's open and doing some sort of breakfast. We'll see. Nothing's open in Nosmayo, so I'm going across to Newton Ferrers, where I've been reliably informed there is a co-op at the top of the hill. And look, I'm crossing a low tide causeway thing. It just goes to show. It's already low tide here. Yeah, there's no way I would have made 9 miles to the other thing before this starts to fill back up again. I need to make sure I'm back across here before it fills back up here. Still, cute. Bit of a detour. I do have literally hours to kill though, so that's fine. Gonna see if they got pork pie. So 11:25. Back at the ferry again and back on the path proper now. So yeah, 9 miles to the ford of Bruinen, and then we'll see what's what. But I've got 7 hours to do it in, so sure I'll be fine. But no, I really did need to go and get supplies. Quite a lot heavier the backpack now. Back up to 3 litres of capacity storage, water. I've got 2 extra bags of nuts as well. And quite a lot of food and drink in my onboard food storage capacity container, so that'll help as well. According to the bottle, I just drank 5 portions of strawberry and banana smoothie, so that should set me up for the day. It's going to be another scorcher with very little wind, so see how we get on. Here we go, up and out. There's Wembury back over there. Just going to sit here for a bit in the shade while there's some still. Probably ran out of trees once I got around the end of the headland. Taking it easy today, as extensively discussed. It does me no good to hurry today. Still going to have to stop and wait when I get to that river till tomorrow lunchtime. So yeah, just trying to pace myself a bit, preserve the feet. It's good. Here we go. This is more like it. This is the other side of that bay. That's King Sand and Coarse Sand over there, so Plymouth is around to the right still. Busy up here. Actually, this has been quite a good bit of path. Maybe I could have done it in 3 hours. Certainly making some good time. It's all sort of basically flat, sort of gently up and down, keeping roughly the same height along the cliff. Winding double carriage, double gauge track there. Ooh, ominous hut. Yes, are you local? Yeah, let's keep tramping on. But again, you know, keep reminding myself, doesn't matter. Not going to get any further than the river today. So, it's all good. So, another vista. Let's see. So that's probably... Which one there we're looking at? That's probably Big V. I'm guessing is in there, around left of that. So still got a bit of a way to go along the cliffs. Not so much up and down though, quite a lot of meandering along at the same level, which is nice. A lot of people on the trail. Busy. Baking hot day as well. 23, 4 again. Not much wind. Feeling it. Yeah, take my time. Rests, no problem. Good. Over halfway. Although it is 1:42, so I've already missed the tide window. Well, that's because I spent so long mucking about with shops and water and stuff. That's fine, that's fine. Well, the plan didn't need me to get here today. No, I don't think I could have done it even if I just immediately got off the ferry and sprinted out here. So, all very sensible. Good. Progress. So, it's about 2 o'clock. Got 5 hours to do about 3 miles. Which is fine. I can't even see it from here. I think it is that on there. So if you just zoom. No, not that one there. Just to the left of that peninsula sticking out there. I think going inland a bit is probably where the river is. Seems a long way from up here, but you know, the miles soon ease up when you're not expecting it. But for now, I think I'm going to have a proper rest stop now. A good half hour or more, just chilling in the shade and shadow of this weird building thing. It's kind of like a four posts and some arches without a roof or top. Don't know, old tower of some sort. Customs house maybe. Don't know. It's not a tin mine. I haven't seen much tin mining anyway around here. Don't think there was much of it on this south coast of Devon. I mean, there's some inland near Tavistock. I think there might be a bit of mining there, but not much on this coast. It's like not in Cornwall anymore anyway, so you wouldn't expect to see the old sort of pump house with the chimney anywhere on this landscape. Well, that did go on around here as well. Yeah, I've got a really big drop and climb to do next. So yeah, I'm just going to take a moment to chill. It really is the peak of the sun as well today. At the moment it's really quite fierce. Keeping hydrated. I mean, I bought 3 litres and stuffed myself with as much drink as I could just outside the shop. So yeah, most of my own body. So it should be good enough to go, but I can't go mad with the water. Just seeing all these people wandering along in sportswear. You know, I think it's the backpack. It's got to be the backpack. It's like I put 2.5 stone on overnight and my feet have had no chance to adjust or accommodate or cope. Just suddenly, bam, whoops, there you go. Which can't be good for your feet, as I'm finding out. Everyone else seems to be sauntering along quite happily, enjoying it. Old geezers and biddies. Couples generally of considerably more advanced age than myself, overtaking me quite often and so on. But I don't care. Set me and pace me. So a bit of a breeze here and I'm out of the direct sunlight, so it's just gonna wait here for a while, I think. Enjoy the epic scenery ahead. Some scarred old cliffs there. See how the strata's almost sort of bent over like that? That sort of angle. Ructions underneath the earth and all that. So yeah, I think there's Bigby-on-Sea with its little offshore island causeway type arrangement. And that's another one of my rivers. That's the second to last river over there. Like I say, if I camp by the is that the no, that one's the So if I camp this side of that tonight, go across it around midday when it begins to be safe. Gives me 4 hours to get across to little seaside town and catch the last ferry. And I think I can do that because it's apparently 4 miles, so 4 or 5. So I'll have to get quite a stomp on as I go, that one. But looking at it, that looks quite uninterrupted, gradual level as well. Sort of just, I keep messing with the camera. Looks like it just sort of sweeps upwards gradually to the top. Hopefully it doesn't go up, down, don't too much. It sweeps back down again to Bigby. So hopefully the going's a bit easier, that section. In which case I can just really get a shuffle on and try and get to Bigby before the last ferry there. If I can get that last ferry, then I think I'm sorted. I'll carry on beyond somewhere, camp. Salcomb's the very last ferry of this trip, and that sounds like it's a much more industrial, everyday, people who just live here and need to cross the river type of thing, rather than a touristy, we're only running sometimes in the summer type of arrangement. So I'm not too worried about the last one. I'll just deal with that when I get there. Be around the end of there, I suppose. That must be start point, I suppose. I don't know. Go around the end of there on Friday and head north. A couple of miles, till point, stop, go home. Put my feet up for a week or a month. But yes, it's a lovely spot up here. Anyway, I'm enjoying the general summerness of it all. Even though it is mid-September, whichever. Yeah, like I say, there's going to be a little bit of time pressure for a particular stretch tomorrow, but right here and now I can just dawdle here and take as long as I like. Cause, like I say, I've got 5 hours to get to where that little sailing boat is. You can't see that from here. And we have a terrifying river crossing on foot. And then a bit of a shuffle, a bit of a sprint to get to a ferry that I need to catch. If I miss that ferry, there is an inland alternative, but there's another 5 or 6 miles on. Either way, or I can try and camp in Bigby somewhere, but either way, it shunts me out of whack for a day. Yeah, my main concern is there's just nothing really since Noise something or other. Nos Mayo. That's the one. I'm trouble with names this week. There's been nothing since the shop there till Bigby, by the looks of it. So I did take on board extra supplies, which has made it all heavier, but yeah, no handy ice cream huts that I can see anywhere between here and there. And that's fine, just pace myself. It's all good. Still up here. It's good, I managed to sit still for half an hour without getting fidgety or just going on a massive hike. This is the South Hams. Big old region south of Dartmoor. It's nice. Possibly not always like this, but where is? On the map I just assumed Devon drops straight into Dartmoor drops straight into the sea, but there's a huge tracts of land down here. South Hams, area of outstanding national beauty or something. It's quite different to Cornwall. I mean, to the untrained eye it might look identical. I found that Cornwall tends to know it's Cornwall. There's a lot of Cornwall going on in Cornwall, Whereas South Devon and North Devon as well, from what I remember, just sort of get on with it, really. There they are, they get on with it. It's a rural working landscape. Yeah, there's occasional touristy bit here and there, but it's not quite such capitalised on as in Cornwall. People, when they're going halfway across the country to an exotic seaside holiday, they tend to go all the way to Cornwall rather than just stop at Devon, Somerset or Dorset. I think this is probably quite an underrated sort of place. What I've seen of it so far, except Plymouth. I think Plymouth is probably useful as a sort of base of operations and also full of lots of interesting things to do on a rainy day. Like trudge from one end of it to the other along the shorefront. No, it had all sorts of museums and shops and restaurants and things. Things to take the cat family to see and do. It's a proper city with proper shops and everything, from what I remember. I think I've been there once or twice before. Long time ago. There's an indoor market. Giant covered building, lots of little stalls inside. Tracker doing its thing. Yeah, there he goes. No rest of the farmer. Saw some people harvesting on the way down on the train. Quite late for that. I guess that must be spring planted stuff, must be finishing now. All the winter planted stuff and autumn planted stuff, that was going on in early August. Multiple harvest times. My dad worked as a farmhand when we were young. I never saw him during the summer. Not because he was neglectful, but because his job just had him out there all hours. Literally all hours. They'd have to run with the combine harvesters on with headlights on at like 10 or 11 at night usually. Not so much arable out here that I'm seeing. But I suppose that's just the cliffs generally. It's not so easy to grow crops on cliff edges, whereas animals are more sure-footed. There's to be a lot of pasture along the cliff margins. A lot of cows and sheep. I didn't see any deer back in that deer park. I think they're probably more ornamental than livestock. A little way off the path here, that's good. You're seeing the same old couples overtaking me all the time. It's embarrassing. I need to stop too. I know I look like I've got all the gear and look like I'm quite dynamic. I can't tell how much my feet hurt. Magnificent. So yeah, I'm guessing I'm going right around the far end of all that in this next couple of days. I don't know if Salcomb's this side of that or the other side of that. I'd have to check the map. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going around the far end of it, one way or another, this week. Tor Cross will be up the other side, starting to turn up towards Exmouth and Torquay and all that. Dartmouth is the other side. I won't be seeing Dartmouth this week. That'll be next week. By next week I mean May 2021 probably. Gonna need a while to recover from this one. Yeah, I was planning on doing 3 of these this year. I thought, I could wrap it all up in 2020, which would basically mean me doing doing this one now. No, doing the one I'm doing right now. That would have been the May one. I didn't do because of COVID. And then I would have done an extra one in the middle of June through Torquay and Exmouth, where I probably would have died of heat stroke if today's been any guide. And then the one here now, this September one, that would have been the final one going across the Dorset coast up to Weymouth and Swanage. But I guess that'll all have to wait till next year now. We'll stick to the original schedule, I think, minus the May one we didn't do this year. Yeah, so May 2021, that will be Tor Cross to, I don't know actually. I can't remember. There's a town somewhere along the Dorset coast, along the Jurassic coast. I can't remember which one it was. Brixham? No. Oh, I don't know. I'll just look it up. Someone can look it up. But anyway, from that place, and then in September of 2021, we go from whatever that place is to Swanage, to Dorset, to Poole Harbour, which will be the very last week. And that's going to be a long one as well. Just about, it's like 1 mile short of 100 as well, that 8th week. Although from experience, I know that's a much more sweepy, cliff-toppy type of thing rather than a, "Way, it's Cornwall, woohoo!" So it might be a bit easier going to compensate for the distance. Plus, I know that end, the far end of it quite well. I visit Swanage quite a lot. It's not too, it's only about 2 hours from where I live by car. It's a lovely little seaside town, so I'm looking forward to seeing it on foot from the wrong end. But yes, we got to do a week where we connect Devon and up to Dorset. I don't think Wiltshire's on the coast, is it? No, that's to the north of Dorset. So Dorset must run all the way up to Devon then. So yeah, and that's going to be a shorter week. That's back to the 6 days listed. Probably do it in 5 type thing. Although I'm going to have to do something about the weight of the bag and the boots, and I think it might be insoles. I don't know. Because my legs are fine, my thighs are perfect, my calves are fine, they have no troubles whatsoever. It's purely the base of my feet, basically where I'm pushing this extra 2.5 stone down through my body onto the floor, and it's when I walk it goes across one single point of contact, which is the ball of my foot, which is suddenly getting a lot more sudden weight than it's used to, which I think is just what's causing it to bruise up a bit. It seems to be settling into a sort of steady, grunt, carry on one foot in front of the other sort of thing, take your mind off it if you can. But I don't think I'm not sure I'm permanently damaging myself, but it does need to be more comfortable next time. I don't remember it being this miserable in the first weeks out of my head. But then maybe it was, maybe I've forgotten. I do forget. You do forget the pains, you just remember the good bits, which is what I like about these trips. So yeah. 260 odd miles to go. I don't regret any of it, even though this foot pain, yes, it's transitory, it's minor. Compared to just, sitting up here, carefree as a bird. Yeah, I've got some faffing around with rivers and boats to do, but at the end of the day, I could just wait until the next one for all of those, and I'll end up basically going home on Sunday instead of Saturday or Friday. If the really worst comes to the worst, this here phone I'm holding is capable of sending an email to my boss to let him know I might need Monday off. Some embarrassing story about how I got my boat times wrong and tide times wrong, I'm sure you'll understand. But yeah, I don't like to abuse that kind of understanding and trust. So yeah, I think I'm probably looking for a Saturday trip home at the moment. If all goes according to plan, this estuary is going to be interesting. Mind you, the idea of paddling in icy cold rivers seems quite appealing at the moment. It's just carrying all my worldly goods across on my back as I do it. That's the main sort of worry. I haven't been in the sea in about 20 years. I don't know why. Because I burn easily, obviously. So shirt off, lobster back generally. I had a very bad time of that in the south of France on some scout trip once. Apparently my back looked like a margarita pizza and I had to lie face down in a tent and drink 5 gallons of water. It kept making me continue to drink. I think they nearly lost me that trip. I'm all right now, but do tend to avoid taking my shirt off where necessary. So, yes. Just going to sit here and enjoy the zen moment of it all. Oh, butterfly. Is that the white one with the black edging? Is that a monarch or an admiral or a zeppelin? I don't know. Cabbage larvae. So you see a lot of butterflies on the trail. It's perfect wild flower country for pollinators and stuff. Loads of bees. They like the ivy, oddly enough. They seem to really go mad for the ivy overgrowing some parts of the path. You hear the whole hedge just going brrr. You think, I'm not going to hit that hedge with a stick. But then, not really in the habit of hitting hedges with sticks anyway, so it's all good. Yeah. God, I really am waffling now. Must be super relaxed, which is good. So I really don't like to look at the next hill. I'll sit here and contemplate it for a bit longer. That didn't look so bad coming down. Passed another through hiker on the way up. Well, she was, I was on the way down. Stopped to exchange tales of the trail and all that. Yeah, picked up the name of a good campsite near Torcross, B Sands. I'll have to look into that. If I end up just short of Torcross on my last night, we'll see. Yeah, she said she had all the gear, but she said she hadn't tried wild camping yet. Hadn't dared, she said. I didn't say anything, but yeah, I guess it must be a different proposition for a single female hiker on her own. I mean, I get quite anxious about it, and I'm a 6'3" large lad with admittedly no specific martial arts or self-defense training, but must be different for a woman on her own. Don't really think. Still, good to see people using the trail. I told her about the ferry at the Yelm River ferry, and she said she had a friend picking her up and dropping her off from the other side, which is fair enough. It's definitely one way to do it. But yeah, I think she's the first person I've seen coming the other way who had all the gear on. You know, hasn't just got a day bag and some plimsolls. Much respect. So, we've got, yes, how are we doing? Well, I've not made no real progress since being sat on top of that hill, to be honest. So. But yeah, see, it's not just me. Other nutters on the trail too, doing it hardcore. Didn't get a name. Another brutal climb. Up to this beastie. Giant rocks on top of its own little hill here. I saw it on the map, it had a name, I've forgotten it already. Great something stone. Arkenstone? No, that's the big gem from The Hobbit. I don't know. I would say it looked like exactly the sort of thing that would provide a lot of shelter in a high windy, sunshade in a lot of high windy places. But looks a bit brambly on the shaded side, so I may have to just press on and find a tree instead. I probably do need to have another sit. This is the hotter part of the day. 24 degrees, not much cloud, a bit of haze, but it's doing nothing. Fresh creosote on those posts. Yeah, I don't get around to the shady side without brambling myself to bits. It's like good rock climbing. Oh, there was a time. Used to be into all that. Mostly around the Swanage area, in fact. Around St Adlam's Head and Tillywim Caves, that sort of region. Which we'll be looking at on week 8, I expect. Yeah, never was much good at it, to be honest. It's all about upper body strength, which I never really had. More of a leg man myself. I mean, you know you're a good climbing physique when your arms are as strong as your legs, because you basically do most of your lifting with the upper body. The legs are just there for stabilising. Old carabiners and ropes and belays and chocks. Long way to bring all that stuff though. I don't know if there's a car park inland anywhere remotely near to this. Probably easier rock climbing to be had. It's good though. Weathered the weather of time, I guess. Literally. Can't be asked to climb on top of it. Moving on. We're going to be more than about 1.5 miles away from the River of Death now, so that'll be interesting. We'll rock up at about, I don't know, what's the clock say now? It says 15:45 now. So we'll probably rock up there about 6 or so. Maybe 5. High tide's about 6:30, so we'll be able to see it in its terrifying "do not cross now" majesty. And then we'll just have to wait around. Like I say, I mean, you know, there is a low tide at about 22 minutes past midnight, but even I'm not that insane. That does seem like folly. Just ford across an unknown river in the dark. Why not? So yeah, the next low tide will be around 12:54 tomorrow. So it says it's safe to do it an hour either side of that, so basically midday, bang, in we go. But until then, we'll have an easy loafing around by the side of a riverbank to be doing. Got to get there first, of course. Doesn't look too bad ahead. It's more gently rounded hilltops. Smooth up and downs, doesn't look like any massive ravines with staircases on each side. Good. I could do with a shade and a sit though. Possibly that hedge just at the bottom of this hill here. I say no pressure, no rush today. Don't kill yourself in the sun. Good. Shade but no wind. It'll do. Try and sit here for at least another half hour. There's really no need for me to be putting in the pace I'm putting in, apart from the fact that I have one speed, which is a problem. Well, if all the speeds I have are go and stop, then I should just do more stop. Anyway, that over there, that one is called Outer Hope, and a charming name. Delightful little village of whimsy, I'm sure. That one there is a New Hope. No, I'm kidding. So that's Salcombe itself is actually around the end and along a bit. So I suppose, having made it past Big Beyond Sea, I think, can't even see it from here, successfully dealt with a ferry at around 4 PM tomorrow. I should be probably trying to strike out towards there, really. If I can get somewhere either before or after there, that would probably be a good job. Salcombe being the next stop, pass through that. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, long day. Long day, short nights, that's the problem. Just really not sleeping well in the tent. Partly because my feet are throbbing, kind of, through the night, but also just, yeah, I don't know what it is about the tent. Wild camping brings some anxieties, I suppose, but it's not that. I think it's that I have to keep waking up and turning over every time, because that's the ground digging into my hip each side, and eventually it gets painful enough to swap over. And that's with my inflaty air mattress thing as well, so maybe I just need to bring lots more mattresses next time. I want like a trolley, one of those big red wooden trolleys with big wheels and a pull handle. I don't know. I just need to toughen up, I suppose, but then, I do 1 week of this and then I don't do anything like it again for the next 7 months or something. So there's no real chance to toughen up. I suppose I just get on with it, really. Small gripes. I don't really know where I am. It's somewhere called Mothercombe. It might be that, or it might be something over there, but pretty sure just over that hill is the Erm, so really am nearly there. It's just there's some quite steep stairs up the side of that thing next, so I'm just taking a bit of a breather. It's only 4:15, so 3¼ hours till sunset, and I've got less than a mile to go, so I think I'll be alright. Mind you, I do have to find a pitch as well, find somewhere suitable to steal the night's sleep from the local landowners or whatever. Well, I mean, typically I go on the path where possible. Then I'm stealing it from, like, Devon County Council or something instead. I'm out of the way. I never block the actual path itself. I always leave room for people to go round you, get through, even however unlikely it seems that they might be wanting to do so at that time of night. That's some interesting strata on that rock. Zoom, 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 zoom. Colour balance. Don't know if you can see that. It starts off grey at the bottom, then it goes a sort of bluish colour, greeny blue, and then it goes a sort of reddy colour, and then it goes light grey again. Quite clear sedimentation. Don't know if this is sedimentary rock or metamorphic or what. Geology not my strong suit, really. Quite pretty though. So that's the Erm. Should we try a little further upstream? I think we probably ought to. Combine getting something in there. Can't tell what the crop is. Mid-September, still getting it in. Yeah, it looks quite wide here. Let's carry on up. Let's get to the approved crossing place. See what they recommend. Bear in mind this is high tide, more or less, so I shouldn't take it all on first glance. but I might be a little bit terrified anyway. Still terrifying, still heading inland. And you, there's a beach, look, loads of people. Well, there's a beach with people, there's often lemonade. I don't know where they're all coming from, maybe up and around the corner. Maybe they've just come here for the seclusion. Can't see a nice green van right up. Gonna carry on, see what more can be seen. Bit of arable here, long since harvested. That would have been early, whatever. It's been long enough for a whole sort of secondary crop to start growing. You can see the green. There'll just be more of whatever they've harvested out here, but it's like the early seeds sort of dropped off way before harvest. Found good hold and then started to grow a whole new second wave of plants. Couldn't rely on that for an actual harvest. You'd have to plough it all up and sow properly, I suppose. But you see the patterning. Sort of green, yellow. Stupid volume button is a stop control. As I was saying, you see the patterning, green, yellow, green, yellow. I think that is to do with over-fertilising. So your tractor goes along with the fertiliser sprayer on the big boom arms out to each side. I think at each end you get a bit of overlap. So those green strips basically accidentally get twice as much fertiliser. They're not very wide, it's not a huge loss, and plus it's better you get over-fertilisation than under. But yeah, you get these like green stripes where it's a lot more fertile. Plants grow quicker and better. I don't know if you want to try and avoid that as a farmer, but like I say, I mean, it's probably better than the opposite problem, where they don't touch at all and you end up with a barren strip down the middle. Yeah. And you see differentiations in the speed of the tractor as well. So the fertiliser comes along, it's trying to spray mist down out of the bottom of its boom arms at a uniform rate, but of course the tractor's not moving necessarily at a uniform speed the whole time. So you end up getting with these like clumps along the stripe around here. Presumably the tractor had to pause or slow or stop momentarily there and then carry on. So that spot there got a sustained blast from the boom arms in addition to the side-by-side over-fertilising. You often see the sort of big sort of waves of green growth near the edges of field or gates where farmers have stopped to have a cup of tea or just shut down and had a bit of a break. It's interesting. But no shade. Well, we're here. Pretty much as advertised. Let's go and have a look at the worst parts of it all. Yeah, there we go. Slipway bend's pretty much where that paddle border is. I think that swimmer is swimming across. You can see a sort of jetty thing on the other side as well. Which I imagine is where I'm aiming at. And yeah, just need to walk across. This is of course high tide at the moment. So I'm just going to have to find somewhere to bed down until tide's ready tomorrow. It's quite a long way. Looking forward to it, kinda. So, it's about 5:30. 3 hours from the ferry, my foot. Well, not these feet anyway. About 2 hours to sunset. And it's paddleboard o'clock. Kinda wish I had one myself, might solve a lot of my problems. Taking dogs out on them and all sorts. Really popular lately, stand-up paddleboards. Must be some new materials technology that suddenly made them possible or something. Going on over there. No ferry service, that's for sure. Glad I did my research, to be honest, after all, you know, belated. I turned up here and, you know, just been milling around waiting for a ferry to turn up. No, there were signs out, the signs just at the top of the hill there saying about tide times and the expectation of walking across. A bit busy at the moment. I'm just going to wait and chill. You kind of see the scale of the problem I'm facing here anyway. See what it looks like at low tide. I need to get up that somehow. I came down by sliding down that concretey bit there. Not very dignified. I nearly lost it with the rucksack. So I need a few more people to bugger off of this beach before I get set up. There's some grass at the top that looks quite good for the tent. It's going to be noisy. Right next to a beach. I do have earplugs in the bag. I'll have to use those tonight, I think. But yes, I think once this is all cleared off a bit, this might be a good spot. But yeah, when the tide goes out, I imagine the path is actually accessible around the end of that big concrete thing. And hopefully no one's having an all-night beach party here. I don't particularly care if they are, but it'll interrupt my sleep. Well, I think this will have to do. It's going to be noisy and not quite as level as I like, but I just don't think I've got any more mileage in me today. So, just wait for a surprising number of people who've just turned up at the beach to piss off. And I think I'm good. On the other side of that almost impossible to climb wall as well until the tide goes out, so that to deter any casual passers-by. Oh, so we're not cramping their two close friends' style there. I don't really care. Too tired to move now. This is it for today, I think. Yeah. So get the tent up after dark. Try not to listen to the sea all night. Pack down at sunrise. Mooch on over to the crossing. Wait for 11:47 and then go. Quite a large amount of trepidation, to be honest, but apparently people do it all the time, so I think that's got to be the way, hasn't it? I did consider the 7-mile road-based detour that they mentioned on the signboard. I thought if I keep 7 miles, it's going to take me about 4 to 5 hours probably at my feet. 4 hours, let's say, which means it'll be about 11 o'clock at night before I get to the other side, and then I'd still have to wild camp anyway. Just means I could be up and away earlier the next morning, and I'll be knackered because I'll have done an extra 7 miles. I've already done about, I don't know how many I've done today. Well, 9 technically, but I suppose I went into Newton Ferrers and back as well. It's got to be at least a mile each way, so yeah, another 11 miles. Doesn't sound like a lot, but my feet. So yeah, I think sticking to the plan is a good idea at the moment. The plan being keep here, get up tomorrow early and pack down just so that you're not wild camping anymore, but then just mooch about over on the wharf again for a couple of hours until the tide's low enough, and then boots off, socks in boots, tie boots around neck, and then give it a go. And we'll have to just see, won't we? I hope there's no sharp stones over there because my feet are already in a bad state. Last thing I know is to be crunching across a load of cockles or winkles or bits of slate or whatever. And then across to the other side, which you can see there, hit that bit of the coast path, for which point I'll have about 4 hours to get to Bigby-on-Sea, which is about 5 miles that way. Might have time to stop and grab a sandwich and a can of lemonade or something, but then I'm going to have to immediately jump on a ferry. Once I've crossed that ferry, things should calm down a bit and I can pretty much make my own time, because I think Salcombe, the ferry at Salcombe, goes pretty much all day, so as long as I hit Salcombe sometime mid-afternoon, which I think is looking likely, yeah, I should be right. And then just, rock up to Tor Point whenever. Quite tired, but I'm going to have to wait for all these late evening beach goers to go away before I get set up, to be honest. So that's okay, I can be a late evening beach goer myself. I can just, oh, is that an extreme zoom of my face? How unfortunate for you. Yeah, so I can be a late evening beach goer myself as well. Might just take the boots off now anyway, get some air on the feet. Tempted to try an exploratory paddle, but you know, I don't. Just one drenching of salt water on my already poor feet is enough for one trip, I think. Don't want to have to do it again voluntarily. Because I don't have a towel. I know, kind of hitchhiker am I? I'm not, I walk. But I can use some old clothes to dry my feet briefly, and then boots on, back on. Sure they'll dry quickly enough in my when all the pressure's back on them. Yeah. It's over there. Somebody mountain biking on the coast path. How dare you? Maybe they're just running. Either way, foolishness. There are worse ways to spend an evening, I have to say. Alright, getting dark, so I won't bother talking to you again. See you tomorrow for the big day, the grand crossing.